Hey, this is Keith at Half Tracks and Honeybees. Hope y'all are doing good today. What we're going to do this morning is some oxalic acid vaporization treatments. That's a mouthful for a country boy. But first off, I want to say how I do things as far as my mite treatment is a little different. I'm not saying in any way for you guys to do it like I do it, but this works for me. So how I do it, I use screen bottom boards in all my hives. In those screen bottom boards, you can slide these little boards in there, and after I do an OA treatment, I can count the mites and see how many mites I drop. So instead of doing an alcohol wash or a Dawn detergent wash, I guess you'd call it a oxalic acid wash. What I do, I go around and treat my hives and see what the mite drop is. I'm doing the third round today. I like to do about 5 rounds every 3-4 days, and I count the mites that drop. I really worry about the mite drop the first day. Now, the first round that I did this, it was pretty obvious the hives that had the possible mite issues. The normal drop I had on all my hives was probably between 0 and 30 mites, which in a colony of 20-30,000 bees is a very, very low percentage. You know, when you do a alcohol wash or a detergent wash, you're testing 300 bees, a half a cup. Well, the way I'm doing it, I'm basically testing the whole hive. The efficacy on oxalic acid for the mites outside the brood is really high, the high 90s. So if I get a small mite drop when I do an OA treatment, I know that hive has very few mites. I did have 2 hives that stood out as far as mites. One had about 150, 180. I don't count all of them, I do some estimating. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be. Had another hive that probably had 60, 80, something like that. But they stood out away from the rest of them. But still, if you think about it, even if you dropped 200 mites in a hive with 30,000 bees, your percentage is very, very low. So I think my hives are in good shape, but I still like to go around and do a treatment, make sure what I've got going on here. I'm an old maintenance guy, so I'm big into preventative maintenance, fix it before it breaks. So anyway, that's kind of how I do it. I'll call it an oxalic acid wash. Maybe that'll be a new catchphrase, I don't know. But anyway, I'll set the camera back on the tripod and I'll show you running through the hives and how I do it. I'm sure you've seen folks do it before. With the screen bottom board, you'll see a little bit of vapor coming out, probably more than with the solid, but I use a little bit of extra to make up the difference. I also don't cover the front entrances. A little bit comes out there, but like I say, a lot more is going inside the hive. So y'all stay tuned. We'll make a little smoke and we'll be back here shortly. Now, I use the Varroa plug-in unit. It works great for me because I'm close to a power source. For the folks that don't have power close by, obviously the battery-powered unit is great. But like I said, I'm lucky I can get power to both of my bee yards. So always make sure you wear your respirator and safety glasses. This stuff is pretty nasty. Don't bother the bees, but not much good for humans. So anyway, here we go. Well, that's pretty much it. Probably a pretty boring video to watch me do that, but kind of a necessary evil. You got to have some kind of a treatment, in my opinion, to take care of the mites. These 7 hives here, it took me 10-15 minutes to treat. I've got 11 more that I've already treated this morning. That took about 20 minutes. So don't take a whole lot of time. Now, if you had hundreds of hives, this would be a pain to do several treatments over every 5 days. But for less than 20, it's not that big a deal. You might have noticed me tapping on the top of the little OA containers. Sometimes when you flip them over, the powder don't drop off, especially if you packed it in there. Just tapping on it breaks it loose and gets it to drop into the chamber. Now when it drops into the chamber and you're looking at the temperature reading, it usually runs, it's set on 400 Fahrenheit. It'll overshoot that a little bit, 415, 420, whatever. But you can see when the OA drops and it starts to boil, the temperature will drop down to 350, 360, even 340 sometimes. And then it'll slowly start picking back up. Well, you can watch it once it tops over 400. You kind of know it's pretty much done. There might be a little bit left, but it's the majority of the product is gone. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, this is the way I do this. I'm not saying that you need to do it that way, but it works for me. Doing the mite drops, counting the mites after the treatment the first day, it gives me a good indication of what's going on. So obviously if I do several treatments and I can't get the number to go down, I'll have to do something different. But normally, by the time I get to the 5th treatment, I'm getting 0 drops. So if I can do an OA treatment with the high 90s efficacy and get no drops, that hive's in pretty good shape. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, hit the like button. If you like my channel, please subscribe. Don't cost you a dime. Please always take time to enjoy the buzz, and we'll catch you later. Thanks for watching.